Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Rich Feldenberg. I'm a pediatric nephrologist, and I create videos about science and medicine. Well, today I want to talk about a book called Attachment, The New Science of Adult Attachment and How It Can Help You Find and Keep Love by Amir, Levine, and Rachel Heller. Well, I consider myself a student of life, and relationships are a major factor in how we perceive our lives as being happy and fulfilling. And most of us are not brought up learning how to have healthy and lasting, successful relationships. So as you can see, I'm wearing my WandaVision shirt. And WandaVision is a really awesome show because it combines both superheroes and relationships. So a really perfect combination of nerdy things that I'm interested in. So in the book Attached, they describe the science behind the way we develop our attachment styles. And it turns out that people have one of a few types of possible attachments. These attachment styles first show up very early in our infancy or childhood based on how we are relating to our parent or care provider. And while the attachment style that we develop in infancy is useful in helping us to cope with the way our parent is providing affection or our perceived needs at that time during our helpless infant period, those attachment styles actually persist into adult life and sometimes become very maladaptive in the way we relate to our adult relationships. Of course, our parents weren't perfect. They suffered from their own programming idiosyncrasies because their parents weren't perfect, and so on. And because most of us never really learn good relationship skills, nobody really teaches us this, we find ourselves stuck in the same old patterns that don't work any better the 100th time than they did the first time. Now, this doesn't mean people with secure attachment never feel insecure or always know how to communicate well, but they generally respond or are open to doing things that would benefit the relationship. Reading this book really seemed to explain so much. It really showed me where my patterns of repetitive behaviors, which were not really working that well, why did I keep having those same patterns of behavior? And it also explains why in the couple dynamics, each individual's attachment style combines to form the dynamic within the relationship and may make those relationships way more challenging depending on the combination of the attachment styles involved in the relationship. And what I love about it is that this is all evidence-based. So this is based on years of research and evidence. Reading this book reminded me of how I felt when I was an undergraduate studying chemistry. I was like, wow, this actually explains just about why everything works the way it does. This is so cool. And I changed my major from biology to chemistry. As I was reading Attached, I had the same feeling that this explains just about everything about how relationships work the way they do, or why they often end up not working. It explained my patterns of behavior, the dynamics in all my previous relationships, and of the relationships I observe in other couples I know. So the book describes three basic types of human attachment styles. There's the secure type of attachment, which, as the name suggests, would probably be the best type to have, but unfortunately, only about half of us have that form of attachment style. And then there are the two less secure types of attachment, which are the anxious attachment and the avoidant attachment. So the great thing about the secure attachment style is that these people are not really afraid of intimacy. They want intimacy and are just probably less likely to think that their partners may not really feel about them the way that their partner says that they feel about them, or overthinking the relationship too much. And they may be more likely to engage in good relationship behaviors and learn about relationship skills like good communication and so forth. For those of us with the more insecure type of attachment styles, relationships can be a bit more challenging. Those of us with an anxious attachment style may really overthink the relationship too much, may try to read between the lines and worry that our partner doesn't really love us as much as we love them, or that they're going to leave us. And sometimes that even causes us to end a relationship thinking it's going to end anyway, I need to get out. But people with anxious attachment styles are more likely to have difficulty with breakup and may obsess and may have almost an addictive-like quality to idealizing their previous partners or their lost relationships. All by myself. Don't want to be. Then again, there's those with the avoidant attachment style who have a fear of intimacy, are not very emotionally available, have difficulty with outward displays of affection, have difficulty saying I love you, and are more likely to leave the relationship. So it's kind of interesting that even though 50% of the population has a secure attachment style, there are more people with avoidant attachment styles in the dating pool, because those are the people that are recirculating more. They're leaving relationships more frequently and are getting back into the dating pool, so you're more likely to encounter them. Those in the secure attachment style are more likely to stay in their long-term relationships and less likely to leave those and end up back in the dating pool. So the good news is that even though these attachment styles were programmed in us during early childhood, if we're aware of them and learn more about them, we are able to become more secure over time if we happen to have one of the less secure types of attachments. And also they could change due to things like adult trauma, which can move someone from a secure attachment to one of the less secure attachments, or move someone with a avoidant or anxious attachment into the other type of less secure attachment style. Now, I think I always had more of an anxious attachment style, but due to adult trauma, I think I now have more traits consistent with an avoidant attachment style, which is unfortunate because that is probably the most challenging type of attachment style to have and maintain a very successful, happy relationship. But the good news again is that you can, with effort, change your attachment style towards a more secure form of attachment, which is beneficial if you want a happy, healthy, long-term relationship, which I think a lot of us probably do. Also, keep in mind that even though there's these specific groups of attachment styles, people can vary in the amount of traits that they show in each attachment style. So what I mean by that is that it's sort of like on a spectrum. There may be someone, say, with an anxious attachment style who has a lot of secure traits versus another person who's technically anxious attachment who has very few secure traits. So that person with more secure traits who is still anxious may still do better in a relationship than the person who has less secure traits but is also still in the anxious attachment style. So again, what really is going to matter is what the two individuals are bringing to the dynamics of the couple. So it's interesting that the research shows that even if you have an insecure type of attachment style, if you're with another partner who is secure, over time you can become more secure because that other person is sort of helping you to learn and grow and become more mature and build your emotional security. Now, I found that it's also helpful to know when your attachment system is becoming either activated or deactivated, because that influences your behavior, and you may want to look at that more closely and see if you're just responding to an emotional response that you're programmed for, even if that's not in the best interest of you or your relationship. So for example, an anxious attacher may have their attachment system activated by an unhealthy relationship when they think, well, this may be my only chance for true love, so I'm just going to stick with this person who maybe doesn't really treat me that well, or maybe only gives them a few crumbs every once in a while. So the anxious attacher may feel like, well, they do provide this support every once in a while, and so I really feel like they're worth sticking it out with. The anxious attacher may put people on a pedestal or really idolize that person or relationship, or they may really think like there's potential for that other person to really change when maybe there isn't as much potential as the person would like to believe. And a person with an avoidant attachment style may unconsciously use certain deactivating strategies to try to deactivate their attachment system. So they may think to themselves, well, even though I thought I wanted a committed relationship, I feel like now I'm not really ready to commit. Or they may put a lot of focus on the small imperfections of their partner, saying that these things are just too big of a deal. That reminded me of Jerry Seinfeld, how in the Seinfeld show, he always found some flaw with his partner, no matter what. And they were usually just really trivial types of things. And so he is a good example of someone with an avoidant attachment. So I think it's really important to try to understand what your attachment style is so that you have the best chance of having a happy and successful and wonderful life and relationship. And it doesn't apply only to your intimate partner. It can apply to all your other relationships as well, like your kids, your friends, your family. So it is really important to understand this and look at how that other person's attachment style may interact with yours in a particular way that sets up certain patterns and challenges. And what's really fun to do is look at other people and couples and see what it looks like their relationship dynamics probably are. Or look at movies and TV shows and look at the characters and try to see. I think in TV shows and movies, the people are mostly insecure because that makes for a good comedy or drama. And circling back to WandaVision, I think the Vision is a great example of someone with a secure attachment, and Wanda is a great example of someone with a very anxious attachment style. But again, in real life, about 50% of the people are secure, which is incredible and almost surprising in a way. But that's great because that gives us, with the insecure attachment styles, a good opportunity to meet up with those secure people and become more secure ourselves. So check out the book. I think it's really great, and I think you may find it useful. And it is science-based, and I'm wishing that everybody finds happy, healthy relationships. And I'll see you all next time. Bye, guys.